The heating system will be divided into zones to allow for energy efficiency. So the first thing they have to do is mark out the zone lines. Since this technology is a new concept to many people, our heating expert wanted to teach us about the system. I'm here with Joe Pearson from JP Heating. He's going to tell us a little bit about radiant heat. Joe, what is radiant heat?
Radiant heat is where we take a boiler, in this case a high efficient boiler, and we heat water and we put it through tubes, and we put those tubes inside the concrete cement. And that transfers that heat into the slab, which makes it very comfortable.
Now, what are some of the benefits of radiant heat?
It's very efficient. It's very comfortable. In this case, we can zone it in many different fashions because of the system that we're using. And it also makes an area like this, where it's a basement, more livable, more comfortable. You wouldn't be afraid to send your kids downstairs to play. Or if you had a ball game to watch, it would just make it a lot more comfortable for the homeowner.
Joe, I'm so excited to see this work get started. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that our plans are laid out and our zones are marked, it's time to install the tubing for the radiant heat system, which will be using over 2,000 feet of tubing. While the pipe fitters lay out the system, our architect gets a chance to review the manifold system with Joe, who is supervising the day's work.
This thing here, these are all flow controls. These are telling what the flow is on it. And these are manual. Without the zone valves, these are just manual controls where as we tighten it, we open up the valve more, add more pressure.
Now, when you pressurize it, will you know immediately if there's a leak someplace, or is there more of a time frame?
Well, if it's a major leak, we'll know immediately. If it's a slow leak, probably, in my experience, it may show up the day of the pour. It's probably very important to just check the gauge again, just to see if there's still air in the system. Sure. If they come back 2-3 days later and there's no air in it, you might want to look over it again. But this tubing is very, very tough and durable. If there's a problem, it's probably not in the tubing. It may be in the fittings. Maybe something isn't tightened up enough, or anything like that.
Our radiant flooring has been set in place, and we've put the tubes under pressure for a couple days to make sure there were no leaks in the system. And once all that's been finalized and approved by our plumbing contractor, we can make sure we can be ready to pour the floor. So the next step will be to pour the floor. There's a couple of precautions we have to make. We got to be careful of the equipment we bring the concrete in on, because we don't want to be crushing any of the tubes or any of the things that are in place in the floor. So it's a tedious process, and it's hard to do, but we'll get it taken care of soon.